In 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. I love that. It gave permission and everything. So we are on. Hi, ladies. It's June 21st.
Wow.
Crazy, crazy,
Mhm.
crazy, but true.
Mhm.
So, I've got to go around and find out how everybody's doing I think today's the first official day of summer, isn't it? I think it
I
is.
thought it was
Yes,
Sunday.
yes.
That's what they were saying at church. That it was.
Oh, was it
Sunday.
yesterday? Oh,
That's what they said at church. They
it
said
probably
today's the
is.
first day of summer. It's the longest day of the year.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah.
We had sunshine. So why don't I start with you, Danielle? How you doing today?
I'm doing amazing
Amazing. And why is that?
because I had 2 outdoor walks, which were lovely. And
Mm.
according to the book I just read, What Happened to You, that helps you reset your pattern. So I feel reset.
Nice.
And
Good.
I accomplished some goals, and life is good.
I love that. I love that. How are you doing, Daria?
I'm doing fantastic. I had a very nice weekend. I went to my cousin's second birthday party, and he's 2 years old. He's just so cute. You know how 2-year-olds are. They're just, everything
Yes.
is a discovery.
Yeah.
And then Father's Day, and my dad came by, and I grilled. So that was nice. I got my grill to work and was able to, do a couple
And
things.
what did you make? What did you make?
Yeah.
Just burgers and hot dogs, and then I had some chicken. And I made some mac and cheese and potato salad. Yeah, all the typical
all the
stuff.
things.
Okay.
Right.
He was in heaven. All that food, Lou was in heaven.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Shanice, how you doing today?
I'm just glad to be here. I'm very thankful and glad to be. I feel like I've been going and going and going. I'm just thankful. I'm just enjoying the start of summer.
Beautiful.
I don't want it to end.
Girl, me
yes,
neither.
listen, I mean, when it starts, it's like I try to cram as much as I can in all the days because there's more sun. You feel like you can get more accomplished. You wake up earlier. I don't know if you guys do, but I do because it's like the sun is just streaming in. It's like, wake up,
Yep.
A lot easier. And I don't need the alarm, So I'm doing well
and it's
too.
Prime Day. Prime Day.
Why did you tell me that?
Oh, it's
Larry agreed to let us get new headphones, y'all.
Very nice.
The Sony has them for $80. $199 ones.
Are there any computers on sale? Anybody know about a new?
I didn't look. I just want headphones because mine are broke and they're peeling. Like they got their money's worth,
Right. Well, I have to look
all the
now.
deals. Check it out.
I'm on it. I mean, I haven't been on it all day, so
girl.
Yeah, but I know. Listen, I'm doing well. It's been great. Lovely weekend. The weather was divine. Went to, I love this season of graduation and just moving on and up. And I love it to be attending, to these things. And so, and then, it was a good family weekend as well. I know. Yeah, I know. You don't like, I love the ceremonies. I really do.
I hate the ceremonies.
Transitions. It's all about transitions.
Transitions.
Right.
And
bye.
Wait, you're like that administrator on TikTok. Have y'all seen that guy that impersonates a school administrator?
Yeah, the ghetto one with the black wig. I have to see that one. What did he say?
Oh my gosh. He was standing out by the school bus and he was imitating the last day of school, the conversations that you have with the people in the cars as they're pulling off.
It's like, bye-bye, bye-bye.
Yeah, he's like, bye-bye now. Okay. I'll see you.
We had pom-poms. We were doing all the things.
Yeah. Have a good one. Have a good summer.
My school's last day is tomorrow. I should tell my friends to use my pom-poms.
Yeah.
Celebrate.
Yeah. If there was ever a year to be happy that it's, we're moving on, it would be this one, right? Just bye-bye, it wouldn't be enough. Get some confetti.
I don't even know how they're working people over the summer. So.
Oh yeah, well.
I am done.
Yeah. No, listen, enjoy the summer. Think about all the books you're going to read. So I'm going to get us to get into it. Let's get to it. The nuts and bolts of The Girl You Gave Away by Jess Ryder.
Mhm.
Jess Ryder, of course, is one of our faves for this group. I mean, I think we all think that her writing is pretty stellar. So I'll start with my first question about what did you think of this book and did you like it? I will leave it open.
I'll go. I like to
Okay.
go first. I loved the book. I didn't like how it ended, but I really loved the book. It was to the point where I didn't even watch TV, and I'm a TV person. I just wanted to see what was going to happen next. I was listening to it all the time in the car. I didn't want it to end.
Awesome. I love that.
Good. Wait, I want to know what she didn't like about the end, though. What didn't you like about the end? Tell me. Yeah. I wonder if it's what I didn't like about the
end. Do we really want to jump to the end already?
Why not?
Go ahead,
what you didn't like about the book.
We read it.
I just felt like I wanted it just didn't end right. Like I just felt like, it wasn't enough information for me. Like there was a lot of empty questions that I still had. Like I had questions about just the girl, everything. And I just didn't feel like they answered all the questions. And it was like open-ended.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
To me.
Yeah. Well, when we all feel that, I always say, sounds like a publishing deadline was trying to be met. Because this was written in 2020. And we know, obviously, all the craziness of 2020. So, so did you like the book, Daria?
I did. And I, as of this morning, had only read 7% of this book. So thankfully I was off most of the day. So I literally sat up and just read. And I didn't have it on audio. So I had to literally read, and I know. But, okay. So what did I like about the book? I liked the themes of parental identity for maybe obvious reasons. I like these books that kind of have all this confusion about parental identity are intriguing to me. I liked just the dynamic in the family, all that dysfunction with the daughter, the main daughter. What was her name? Chloe doing the most, even though she was so young. I liked her. She was. I know one of your questions is what character do you relate to?
Which one do you like the most?
Chloe. I related to Chloe.
Okay. Good.
But Shanice, what I didn't like about the ending was you never got to meet Dean's daughter. That did the do. So I think her name was Charlie or something.
Her name was Charlie. Yeah, her name was Charlie.
Yeah. So
we met Charlie, but not as Charlie.
We met her as Jade. That's right.
Yeah, but you still didn't really find out much about her. You just knew that she was what she did. You didn't really get to know all the stuff behind that. So
yeah, you didn't understand the why. Right.
I thought Mia was the one that died. I thought that was the girl, and they were just changing the name.
Right. No, it was definitely the roller coaster ride that we have come to expect of Jess Ryder for sure as a writer. Danielle, did you like the book?
I did like the book. I liked it. I agree with Shanice about the closure. There wasn't closure. I didn't like how what happened with the friend Holly. I don't know. That was
Was she sleeping with her husband?
Her husband, and she was just gonna let that go. Girl, that could have been a whole nother chapter.
It could have been a whole nother book.
A whole nother book. But I thought it was realistic. I could see the daughter feeling that way and being mad at your mom. How you gonna give this child fetal alcohol syndrome and then move on and give us a perfect life?
Yeah.
And she was 40, so she's younger than us, and we knew about fetal alcohol syndrome when we were that young. So I was just having issues.
It was a struggle So I was going to say, did you, my next question is, did this story seem realistic? Did the characters seem realistic?
Well, did you like the book?
Oh,
yes,
I did like. Thank you for keeping me on my toes. I did like the book. I enjoyed it. I struggled with some of the realistic parts, but I think that's just, me thinking I want more from these characters.
Yeah.
I didn't like the way that it ended either, but like I said earlier, I think it had a lot to do with timing. And I agree, there could have been some very interesting conversations, even with Erin's friends. So the Holly piece, that's a whole nother conversation. Absolutely. But Asha, that
was, she was a hot mess too.
I felt like this was poor decision making, but there were some things that were broken in her as a young girl, and the relationship how it was, like carved out with her parents, looking for these external validation pieces. She liked going over to, Holly and Asha's, parents' house because it wasn't like hers. And so a lot of that I could, it seemed very realistic. So some of it just like didn't match. So yeah.
And I thought the husband was a piece of crap.
Oh, yeah.
Like he created a lot of these issues, like where she had to keep everything secret, act like she was perfect. Like,
yeah, he wasn't really for anything that was going to be less than to mess up his ideal, the ideal image of family. And right. I mean, and to think about, so one of the questions is like, when you decide to spend your time or life with someone, what do you say and what don't you say? Like, how does that play out?
Sorry.
I mean, how do you not tell someone? Okay, that's my question. So what do you think about that question?
I mean, I think people have things that they decide they want to leave in their past. And, there's a decision that people make about, like, who is this going to benefit by sharing this information?
Right.
Whether it's a parent to a child, whether it's a significant other to the other party. I think people navigate these information asymmetries all the time.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, what do you think, ladies?
I think it's a benefit to leave that in the past because, sometimes people want to live on fairy tale. And when you get in a fight with your husband, they throw that ish in your face. Like,
so there's some things that you don't want to say.
Time. Yeah, it's like a mistake to share too much because they'll throw it in your face. And then now you brought the past that does nothing to do with the present in this current situation. Now it's like you're swimming in your poopy water. Like, I think share enough, but like not.
Yeah, when it said that he went through the details of like people that he had been with, and remember, like, and she was like, I don't need to know all that. That's like TMI.
I don't want to know all that.
Yeah,
I don't want to know
exactly.
if she did this move on you and it made you do things. Right. Like, I don't need to know all that.
Yeah.
And usually it's women. Well, no, usually it is men that want to know the history of the woman because they want to know, like, who are they getting involved with?
But they want you to lie to them. But they
don't really want the truth.
They don't want the truth.
That's what she did. That is exactly what she did. She said she'd been with one person. Right. Which maybe she was.
She was
honest.
Didn't get into the details. I thought she was honest. I
mean, she was honest.
Just didn't go into the details.
Right.
She had a full birth. That ain't
a whole right.
A whole body like came out of her vagina. That's not honest.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You should be true about that. Like, I birthed somebody, I gave somebody for a dot. Like, those things should
simply because what could have happened. Yeah.
I do ask Larry, like, how many babies are floating in formaldehyde? Like, I do want to know that. Like, because we're gonna pay for your for what you did.
Oh, decisions that you may or may not have. Right. Sure.
That's what I feel. But if
I think she could have told him some of this stuff, but
right.
Well, part of it too is you have to gauge, can people handle the truth? I mean, not everybody can handle the truth.
He did not seem very level, and he was, for me, he was a teacher, right? So I just felt like, why are you having such a hard time with this information? That
because he's shady.
Well,
he's a piece of crap. I mean, the people that can't handle that are because what they did or what they're doing, or
or they might have to disclose more than they want to. Right.
Good point.
Yeah, because I thought that was really, really interesting.
I mean, I thought something was going to come back with his mother. Not like she never developed that part of the story.
Oh, that was a little underdeveloped in the relationship, but she said she always thought she was fine towards her. But, you know, she was also, again, had a little bit of a skewed view, I think, around what parents do and what they don't do, all from other people, you know, from what she saw with her friends, what she saw with her husband's mother. She didn't have a really great relationship with her mother because, you know, think about it, you know, your mother insists that you give this baby up for adoption because she had you at 40 and was overwhelmed by that and said she's not going to feed another mouth and all of these things. But for them to only call each other for emergencies,
I know
their relationship was completely torn apart by this decision to put the baby up for adoption. I thought,
but I think they didn't listen to the 14-year-old Erin. Like it wasn't. They never like talked to her. They didn't like listen to her. No. They didn't hear how she felt.
Which is what I did like about the author having the, you know, the 1990s version of Erin versus the 2020 version of Erin, just to give a little bit more insight into her thinking at the time. To your earlier question, you know, Shanice, about, you know, thinking about drinking while pregnant, I think that there's information that is shared maybe in, you know, schools and common places. Again, this is obviously the UK. I'm pretty sure it's comparable with the US education system. But what gets reinforced at home or other conversations, I think, is the bigger thing of not knowing what's really happening with your own body. Like, you know, she missed all of her own, you know, her own symptoms even. So I thought that was an interesting thing.
Well, you know what this did make me look up was whether there is a known link between autism and drinking while pregnant. You know, because there's such an increase in the prevalence of autism. And, you know, a lot, there's the anti, you know, the people that think it's vaccination related. There are studies that show a link between drinking while pregnant and autism. So I was just like, I wonder, I mean, now granted, they didn't put her on that spectrum, but they intimated that there can be other developmental issues. So it just made me think about that, like because there's such a high rate, such a high rate of it now.
Right.
But I'm glad they address everyday issues like drinking, because it's really not, it's talked about as much as it was before. I think it was talked about more when we were younger than today. And, you know, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
yeah, no, I think there's lots of things that you could talk about and look at for different connections. I mean, I think, you know, there's a study for everything. So there's that. I mean, you know, because people are looking at for the why, you know, why is my, you know, XYZ relative this way or that way or whatever. So I do think that absolutely. I mean, for me, I think the education part, again, and knowing one's body, knowing what's happening with one's body is so important. And that was like a really good reminder, you know, for me about what we don't talk about. Someone else is going to talk about it with your kid or your family member or whatever. So what we don't address, others will definitely address.
But that's the difference. I think you don't share everything with your husband, like, because they'll throw it in your face, but you should share a lot with your kids.
Yeah.
Like if you made those monumental mistakes, just so they don't repeat. You know, or they know like you're not perfect, and like they could come to you about you know, those things.
I liked when Chloe came back home when she was able to escape, and her and Erin had that heart to heart where Erin basically confessed everything. Like, look, this is what happened. I thought that was the huge breakthrough, like you said, Danielle.
I like that part. Yeah,
that was my next
question.
Just
be honest. You know,
what stood out to you? Yeah, just being honest. Thinking about your own vulnerability and saying like, that's why I'm so hard on you. But like, if you had said that, maybe Chloe wouldn't have reached for the champagne flute for the Woman of the Year event. Maybe she wouldn't have done that. Right. And so I think
maybe she wouldn't have resented you and been mad at you and
all the things. all the things. Yeah.
Well, another line that stood out to me was, it was something like, contrary to popular belief or popular opinion, it's not always better to have more than one of something.
That's interesting.
Talking about having more than one, like, parent.
Oh, interesting. I don't even.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's very interesting.
Wow.
Because remember, I was, what's her name? The girl Jade Jade said she had to distinguish birth father from
Dean.
And it was in that light of, like, it's contrary to popular opinion, it's not always better to have more than one of something.
Right.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, for sure. Yeah. No, for sure. I could understand that. What did you think about Jade's parents, her adoptive parents, her mommy and daddy, as she called them? Again, showing some of her.
Was it like Susan and Steven or something? Susan.
I think that's right. Yeah, the attorneys.
I thought they were great. They wanted nothing than to help her, and they tried to be understanding. And even when she found her, her mother, and supposedly was being welcomed in, they tried to be supportive. I thought that was very selfless.
Yes.
I agree. Too. Yeah, I thought they
did everything right. Like, okay, baby, like, if that makes you happy, we're here. We love you.
Well, they dug deep because they didn't know it was fetal alcohol syndrome until they really dug through her records and stuff.
Yeah.
They cared.
They definitely cared.
They made a decision, and they stuck by their decision. Like, we adopted this kid, we're gonna keep this kid. Like,
yeah. I was impressed with that, the way that they handled all of that, because that was a lot to take on.
They say a lot of kids end up going back, like dogs,
Oh, to their
like, they parents are like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, it's too hard. Well, definitely in the foster system that happens a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know some personal examples of that, when things aren't working out. It's like, no, you may not return to sender. Like, this is an adoption, right? So yeah, I thought they were really great. I thought they presented themselves as constants in her life, and the security that she needed and the stability that she needed. And it wasn't until I think she saw that her birth, the birth family, the birth parents weren't all the way stable. They had, some deficiencies. Her awakening at the end about, like, blood is just one thing. It's just one piece of it. But like, my parents are really great, and I didn't realize that. And I thought
she didn't feel that connection to them. Like, she knew she didn't kind of.
Yeah. But I think she had growth. I think she had growth, though, in that moment, saying, like, they've always been there for me. They've always shown up for me. They've always done these things that have really made me, that I ignored, that I abandoned because I felt abandoned, right? And so I thought that was really, I thought that was a really cool part.
She was psychotic, though. She was psychotic.
Jade.
Yeah.
She
tried to. Oh, she almost threw her sister over the balcony.
Well, she hit Dean with the damn weight.
She taped her. She had her, like, bound. Like, that was like her prisoner. She thought of her as a prisoner, as a hostage.
But guys, you know what I thought? I want to meet someone with fetal alcohol syndrome.
You probably
I'm sure you have, being in the school.
Yeah. You have.
No, but I don't know. Like, I want to know, oh, that person has it. Like, I don't see that on anybody's diagnosis. And I'm
let's just put it this way. In one of my old schools, you can tell the difference in the kids that have fetal alcohol syndrome.
Really? See, I can never say. I don't know.
I think there's like
we on live, so I ain't going to say where, but
no, right. No, yeah.
You can definitely see the difference.
And I think there's a continuum, just like everything else.
Or crack babies, fetal alcohol syndrome. It's very similar.
I think that there's a continuum.
Even children of smokers. And I don't know what they call that, but that's a thing too.
Well, what they look like? What are they like?
They have developmental delays.
And then oftentimes related to pulmonary functions and things.
I just thought they became out preemies, and then they're fine.
They do have lower birth weight, which also gives you, insight into some of their other challenges. we know all these people. They're
gotta
all
finish cooking. If you don't finish cooking in there, stuff happens.
For sure. There is an incubation period, or gestation period.
Well, I have a family member that was a preemie, so that's why, you know,
well, to the smoking thing, I mean, we know that
they
they
may share DNA.
Yeah, just have lower birth weight, and sometimes, yeah. And then, you know, again, I think we know all these people. They're walking around us. They are members in our family, because everything doesn't get checked or documented or highlighted as such. But to your point, you know, the research is there to make all the connections. You know, speech delays, function, academic
Alicia
issues.
has some comments. I'm sorry.
Hello,
Shanice, you're slacking today.
Shanice, you've been moderating lately. Would you like to?
I know, Shanice. What happened? Doggone girl.
I don't want to take over your role.
So I said, "Hello, ladies. Feel terrible for Jay's adopted parents. It just goes to show you that good people can be taken advantage of, and if you let people take you for granted, they will, including your kids," which is true.
That's true.
And then she also said, "Who says they want to meet someone with fetal alcohol?"
I do.
She said only Danielle. Only Danielle.
Only Danielle. Sorry.
That was a real thought. I just thought I would share.
So what do we think about the guys in this book? Any
normal? You know, they're all jerks.
Dean was horrible.
The worst ever, but realistic. That's so real.
It was realistic.
So real.
Realistic and horrible.
Can you imagine being in the hospital? Well, I know people have this story, and then the person next to you is having a baby by the same guy.
I never heard
it happens. Story. It happens.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know about being in the same room, but definitely people being pregnant at the same time by the same person. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we have media people, we have social media, you know, we have celebrities talking about this.
Yeah, that one people have to get divorced because he's having twins. I forget his name.
Nick Cannon.
Oh no, I was even talking about Nick Cannon, but yes.
But he did just have twins, and now he's got somebody else pregnant.
Right.
Who is it? I forget.
That was surprising.
Lala Anthony, Layla, Lala, Lulu.
Oh, Carmelo Anthony. Oh,
yes, Carmelo, whatever the hell.
Carmelo Anthony, yeah.
He cheated and is having twins, so she has to divorce him.
Right. Yep. Or stay. I mean, whatever.
No.
Listen, the person who stayed, that it was like, what? Wow. Magic Johnson.
I would only stay to spite that.
Magic Johnson's wife stayed.
I would only stay, but I wouldn't be there just to spite the other baby mama.
Right. Like, you're not getting out of this.
Girl, you ain't gonna have all of him. We'll take your kid on Tuesday and Thursday.
So the guys were realistic for you, Danielle. What about you, Daria, Shanice? What do you think about these men in this book? How did they show up?
I liked Ollie, and I felt bad for him when he was unable to keep studying and preparing for school. That was realistic and upsetting. You know, like he was on this track and he was so gung ho and so focused, and then when everything fell apart, he just couldn't even keep it up, and that's realistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. It made me think of the pressures that my kids could have on them, and how me and my husband and my family have issues that affect our kids and how they think.
Mm-hmm. It always affects the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great great example. I mean, everything that we think isn't impactful is impactful, but to what degree and measure, right? And when, you know, and how would we know or make sense of it? I think he felt a lot of pressure. I mean, all of the, you know, expectations, and, you know, he also said, am I doing this for me or you? Was this your dream, Mom? Or was it, you know, is it really mine? Because I know you wanted us to go to school. We didn't know why you were pushing. Yep. Now we know why, because she struggled to get her, you know, her education and training was difficult. Her parents put her on the street after having this baby and really working her way.
But I think that's why she takes Dean's stuff, because she doesn't feel worthy.
She's a people
pleaser. She's going to take that man back. She's going to just do all the things.
So so that this reminds me then, and I had to look to find the line, but she said the part of my brain where actions meet consequences is not functioning properly. I was like, yo, that is a confession and a half right there.
And so true.
Wait, did she say that about her husband?
She said that about herself when she was messing with Dean and, you know, with
as a teenager. Yeah.
As a teenager. Wow. She said the part of my brain where actions meet consequences is not functioning properly.
Like she kind of knew it was wrong. She was definitely thinking it was wrong. And then, you know, her friends were like, girl.
Hold on.
She had no friends because her friend would be like, honey, that ain't your boyfriend. Like
that is true.
Like, okay,
they did get her to go do AA though. I thought that was very a sign good. That they were friends.
They were they were coming from university, so they had a little bit more experience behind them, and they definitely dialed into her and said, "You can't."
And they made her go. They like went with her to make sure she went. You know, so I was like, okay, that's
At that point, they were being good friends.
Yeah. Now, Elisa said that it was pretty unbelievable that Gemma was in the same room as Aaron, and I thought that too. But I just thought it was a pregnancy room, like for teens, like so they couldn't bond. I just thought maybe some hospitals had that, and that's kind of where I left that.
Yeah. I don't think that's unrealistic. I mean, there was hey, again, family members. I got family members with all sorts of stories. I mean,
no, you do, and Keisha, your stories seem unrealistic, but they're realistic. You know what I mean? So I get
Elisa's
point, but I know that it could be realistic.
Well, because I have
family like that too. So
I have family members who, when they were 16, they were minors, 15 and 16. You know, their parent put them in, like it was a home for unwed mothers, and then they went to like a ward in the hospital for unwed mothers because they didn't want them to mix with the population of the, the married couples. I mean, now this was, early 70s, but it happened in very prominent places in our country, like, so I do know that is a thing that definitely could really happen because I've heard about it.
Yep.
And but so this was the 90s. This was like 2000, like 95 or something, wasn't it?
Well, but we're also talking about the UK. I don't know what standards of practice are still in play. We also know they have a different.
I think even here, teenage pregnancies, if they continue with it, it's kept as low profile as possible.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I mean, she said Aaron's husband was pretty predictable, almost disappointing. I guess they're a little behind than us. Disappointing that he turned out to be exactly who she said, who she was afraid he would be. I was hoping he would react with support and not exactly what she expected. And I'll be honest, so did I. I really was disappointed in Aaron's husband. Was it Thomas? What's his name?
What was Aaron's husband?
Yeah, he just his response.
It didn't surprise me though.
I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, because of how he handled the beginning of their relationship, like wanting to know every little detail and make sure there was nothing, no skeletons in the closet.
In her closet.
Like you knew that when something came out, he was gonna flip his lid.
Although
who even asked somebody that? Like
But you were also walking down the aisle with the woman you impregnated as well. So I don't understand why all these rules and all these whatever have to be put in place. Like, I
don't want to know your whole past. Like that's in your past. I'm your future. I'm your present. Like, I
mean,
I want you to forgive yourself for whatever you did, and we're gonna move forward. Like,
what do you think about at the end though? I understand he showed up with Holly, where there may or may not have been whatever that was or wasn't.
Oh, there was something.
That was something. Like Holly should have got beat the up.
Well, Asha,
like, you can leave. My husband can stay, but you're gonna need to go. Oh, you don't want her to go, then you go with her.
Well, the whole idea that when Asha said, "Oh, she's living a double life."
Yep,
that was a very big loaded statement. Like other people have things going on. So was she like a husband attempted stealer, or was she or was
But she knew that. Aaron knew, like, that girl was, Holly was shady to begin with.
She had a crush
They all
on him.
knew that she was like doing dirt and doing what she was doing.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Not feeling guilty or bad about what she was doing. So
I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was very interesting. So, I mean, the only great guy I thought in the book was really the son.
Ollie.
I was really Ollie. Yeah.
Because he didn't turn 18 yet.
I thought he had potential. He had great potential.
Does he?
I
His
thought
dad,
so.
I'm sorry, when
well,
unfortunately, like when
you I didn't like how Thomas coordinated with his mother, took the kid and was like, and I should have took the daughter too. Like, I mean, for him to do all that and her not know, I mean, that was, to me, that was way over the top.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I thought that was realistic.
No, I'm not saying it's not realistic. I'm saying it was over the top.
Right.
I can see it happening.
Whose husband just did that now. He took the son and left the daughter, you know, and they're not even breaking up. So
yeah,
I mean, I can see it happening. It's just awful. It's awful.
It ain't gonna happen in my house. I'll fight somebody.
And the mother being the accomplice in the situation, his own mother, the grandmother, essentially helping make this happen. Realistic. You know, she cooked dinner. They were going over. They were going to have dinner.
That seemed very realistic.
But that might have been Holly cooking the dinner.
Like,
we don't know if the grandma was really cooking the dinner. Like,
that's true.
Yeah. Why Holly coming over? Like, no, it was just too much.
Yeah, and he said he touched her leg and was like, no, wait. Like, because Holly was about to confess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Holly was about to tell, because Aaron was like, well, what's going on? You know, and Aaron was like, Holly was about to, and he's like, no, not now. I was like, oh.
Well, but Aaron didn't really want to know. Because, like, I'm not really asking any questions.
She did want to know at the end.
Did she know? No.
Well, she didn't say, why are you here with my family?
She didn't say, why are you here? Before
she's like, are you all sleeping together? She asked a direct question.
No.
Did she get an answer?
No, right. Well, no, because Thomas told Holly not to answer.
And then what did Aaron say?
She didn't ask again.
I don't know, but I'm just
my point.
I'm talking about Thomas's quieting.
I've been there with my cast iron skillet. Like, what is going on? Like,
I'm talking about Holly. I mean, about Aaron. I'm talking about Thomas and how he was able to quiet Holly because Holly was about to confess.
But he was able to
way he had was strong enough that he was able to get her not to say anything.
Because that's the type of woman he gets.
Right.
Aaron was the same type of woman.
That's true. Aaron was very diligent. I mean, to the point where, so you think about it, I'm going to go to the incident with the banking. She did say she took money, but then Thomas went and found out exactly what she did. I'm a shareholder. It was a very controlling kind of situation. Although,
no. The woman from the office told him.
Because he was probably sleeping with her too.
No, she had a wife, but she did.
She was a lesbian. She was a lesbian.
She might have been bi.
Yeah, well, we don't know that.
Oh my God.
What?
Yeah, we don't know that part.
Nobody's off the table, girl. Nobody's off the table.
I don't think. I agree.
Yeah, but she told him. She reaced out herself and told him.
She said she had concerns, but then the detailed email exchange was way more that I think than red flag. He went into. He asked a lot of questions and got a lot of information back. So I just thought it was a little bit weird. The way that the exchange was. I mean, the way he questioned her.
Let any of y'all husbands call me. I ain't telling them Nathan. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, so what about? Let's go.
They didn't disclose too much,
right?
So I'm thinking there's something more was going on.
But what about the friends now? So now let's tackle.
What friends? There were no friends.
I was gonna say, speaking of sharing details, so Asha was like, "I'm tired of keeping your secrets." She told her that. She was like, "I'm tired of keeping your secrets. It's a burden to me." I was like, "Oh,
damn!"
Right?
But she should at least told her first. You know what I mean? Like, look, if you want to keep doing this, like, I'm not having your back. If somebody comes to my door and asks me questions, I'm answering.
Like, if they come to my parents' door, I'm telling. I'm gonna go tell.
Yeah,
that was not being a good friend.
No, it was not.
That wasn't a friend.
No, that was really sad for Erin.
Well, something must have changed though. Something must have changed from the time that where she was going to AA and they were supporting her through that, and something changed. Because you don't just go from that, like you don't go out of your way to make sure somebody goes to AA meetings, and then next thing you know, you're revealing details to the long lost daughter coming out of nowhere. I mean, something changed. They must have lost contact or something.
But I don't think Erin was a good friend. So you can't have good friends if you're not a good friend. Like even the whole thing when they were 14 at the concert, and she's like, my dad's outside waiting. And she didn't leave. Like, come on, girl, it's time to go. Like, my dad is here. Like, let's go. And for her to just be reckless and
irresponsible.
And I was probably saying, because even when we were little, Danielle's family, her mom, dad used to take us to concerts and drop us off all the time. I could see Danielle never speaking to me again if I didn't show up. I just, to me, that was like the first no. Like, she was at that concert. She should not have left with some other people. I just thought that was so inappropriate.
Yeah,
it was. It's selfish. And then my mom or dad's gonna be asking me questions. Well, where are you? And I gotta answer that. That's not fair to me.
Yeah, that's not being a good friend.
Do whatever you want to do from A to Z, but at Z it's time to go. Right. And then we go get a car like we're angels.
Time to go.
Right, time to go. Let's go.
Right.
Rapido.
Vámonos.
Yeah. I just thought that theme of friendship throughout was it was just sad to me, because it was a lack of friendship. It was a lack of trust. Like for me, throughout the book, it was just not very, very good at all. And I thought what was interesting was Amy, who of course we were thinking was this like shady character, turns out to be like I mean, yes, she definitely lifted and thrifted things that came from the charity shop. Okay, not the best,
but she wasn't bad.
She wasn't bad. And look at her taking her mother and her life savings to, go and see her final days in a place she wanted to be. But we could have characterized her, so differently than how she really showed up and was supportive of Jade. I mean, really, that's how Chloe got out, right? She came home and was able to get her out of that situation.
And we never found out really what happened to the 10,000. We know they took it, but like who, like what happened with it? Was it Dane, or was it who? Like what happened really with the money?
It was his daughter, but did he get any of the money?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Was it his wife? Was it him? And it also, Elise said, I thought in that moment, Erin had a telling moment where she realized she wasn't a good friend to Asha. So she thought I did too. I realized, but I think that Erin had a lot of mental issues herself that she just never addressed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's one more thing. Yeah. She said the book made me question, how can I make sure I'm a good friend and not just dumping my problems on others?
I'll text you tomorrow, Lisa.
I'll go on Wednesday. I'll send my thoughts on Wednesday. And you'll go Tuesday.
But that's a great thought though. I like that.
That is a good thought.
I mean, and I think more people should think like that. Like, how do I not just use somebody as a dumping ground for their crap?
Well, this whole idea about showing up for people, right? Like, how do I show up? And then the other thing that it makes me think of is, again, being mindful of my actions, that it does not become a burden on someone else, in particular, someone who I call a friend.
Yep.
And so when I ask myself that question, I always say, like, how many people do I think are my friends? And how many people think they're my friend? For me, that number is not the same number.
See, mine is the same number. You know if I'm your friend, and you know if you're my friend. Because I don't really deal with you if you're not.
Elisa said, thanks, Daria.
Daria? I'm the one that said I was going to text her.
She said Daria.
No, because I was saying, I understand.
Point number one, Elisa.
Coming from with that.
Elisa, you're a great friend. You really are.
Because well, she can hear you.
You are wonderful, Elisa. Don't ever doubt that. But for me, that number is not the same. So I know that that's me and how I do what I do. But I do try to
Does
think
that
about.
mean you are a chameleon, Keisha?
Good question, Barbie.
That's a great question. Chameleon. No, I don't think I'm a chameleon. I think when I think about a friend, and I think about a friend, me having a friend and being a friend, sometimes the expectations and the activities associated with them are different. That's what I would say. I don't think I'm a chameleon. I think I'm adaptable for sure.
Adaptable.
But I don't change my value set to match a situation. So I don't change my colors, but I do think that I mean, it made me think, honestly, like, what do I get from a friendship and what do I give to a friendship? And so when I look at the numbers of people I have in my circle, I guess it's probably more like an onion or something like that.
Layers. I think my friends are like a bouquet.
That's
like they're all different, but I need all the stems, all the,
all the things.
All the things.
You're right.
And you can't look and be like, oh, that could be Danielle's friend, because you just, I don't know.
Never know.
Right.
Yeah, I've known you long enough to know that you never know.
You never know. It's like a boyfriend. I don't have a type. It's just, here you go. Yeah.
I did have to explain that to your mother.
To my mother?
Yeah, like anything goes. Like, that's the beautiful part about you. Like, anything goes.
Damn.
No, that's a great thing.
Oh, well,
that's why you're my friend.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I like that. You don't have a type. You don't have, these standards and these things are, they're just arbitrary, right? So, I think that's very telling. I mean, hopefully Erin's family, they end up where they want to be or ends up the way that she wants. But, for me, I mean, the outcomes of the book, we all said like we didn't love it, but what would have been the better ending for each of you?
That's a good question.
Just another chapter explaining some more stuff in detail, I think, or another 2 chapters, just going in more detail about the money, just a couple of questions, just give me a little bit more. She could have sat in for 10 more minutes.
Well, for me, it would have been closure with Erin and her husband. They stayed together 4 more months, and then Erin realized, you know what, I can't do it. And they broke up. And Holly, she confronted Holly. Holly, I don't know, maybe got in a car accident or something. And then the daughter, I don't know, then Dean's daughter, maybe they took them to court and got the $10,000 back. But then that might have been just cliche, wrapped up in a bow. So maybe it's better that we didn't have an ending.
Yeah.
What about you, Daria?
I mean, I just wanted to know what was going on with Charlie. This the one that's, impersonated Jade.
Yeah.
What was going through her head? It would have been neat for her to have the last word somehow.
That's true, Daria. Good point. Damn, I didn't even think about that, because that girl must be jacked the hell up.
Right.
What was she seeing all her life?
You're right,
totally.
Daria.
And she was put up to impersonate. She didn't do that on her own. She had to be put up to doing that.
Now that would have been a really good epilogue.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd be and then if she ultimately had the upper hand in the whole situation, that would have been oh, okay, that's that.
Right. That's true. I didn't think about that. That is true. Wow.
Yeah.
That would have wrapped that up. Yeah. What about
Definitely.
you, Dr. Taylor? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I wanted a little bit more closure with Erin and her husband as well. I feel like, kids are so resilient, and obviously I feel like they were really bright and very expressive in their own ways. So I felt like they would be okay, managing their emotions beyond. I loved, Chloe's acceptance of yes, this, wasn't the perfect whatever, but now I have a sister and I have someone, to love and consider. And she realized all her anger and all her challenges.
I'm sorry, Danielle's hand is raised. That just made me laugh.
And she got her nails done on her hand.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. So that's what I would say. I did want to know that, but I think what I always think about the sign of a good book for me is when I'm left with like more questions at the end versus it feeling very final.
Mm-hmm.
So I raised my hand only because you said kids are resilient, but we learned from what happened that they're really not.
No. I thought about that when she said that. That's
like think about these kids. Shanice, that's another book we read, like a third book of the month. So just don't worry about it. But it's a good book. What happened to you? But they're not really that resilient, and I wonder like what's going to be the outcome in the future for those children.
So what I think about when I say that word around resilience, I feel like I was listening to kids in the book who would be able to navigate their own journey. The fact that like Ollie ended up with a gap year, that Chloe was so expressive and she was able to tell her mother how she felt. I felt like that was some really mature content that made me feel like they will get what they need to get to be the best that they could be. Mm-hmm. I think that when I look at resiliency, I think about people who are able to persist and then find those connections for greater well-being or wellness. I'm sorry that I should have added that too with that word. No, because I agree. Right. No, I agree that like there are things that we have to go talk about and untether from so that we can redo, remake, restore, Mm-hmm. So yeah. But
well said, Keisha.
Well, Jess Ryder, I think, listen, I for a fiction writer, for me, you have to come with it because there's my life is a reality TV show. Personally, I can't make this stuff up. So I'm always riveted by like a topic that I'm like, oh yeah, I know somebody like that. Oh, they're related to me. I got cousins, And coming from a bigger family, I think that perhaps that's the more people. Mm-hmm. But I really was very engaged and really motivated to finish the book, to see kind of where it all ends. Does Elisa have any feedback about? Okay.
Oh, yes, she does. She said, I agree. The ending was a bit rushed. I was expecting Jade to kill Chloe, but that I probably wouldn't have been much. I don't know how realistic it was that Chloe could forgive Jade for keeping her captive. And I think she just loved her personally, I think she just loved her sister so much that it was easy to forgive. But, I understand that too, both ways, but.
Yeah.
Well, the idea of having a sister.
Right.
And people do sweet stuff. I mean, we've all done stupid stuff to our brothers and sisters, especially as an older brother and sister.
I've had stupid stuff done to me. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a lot.
That was a lot. And I mean, I did some things too, but that not gagged.
But she understood also that she was mentally ill. So she knew that she was going through it. And I think Chloe was more of a sensitive kid than what her mom portrayed her as in the beginning of the book.
She had a lot of empathy. Her empathy quotient was really high. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I thought so. She's like, okay, mom, like, this is not all about you. Somebody else is involved. Like, can't you see this is impacting somebody else? This is not just about you.
And also when her husband and her were having issues, she stayed with her mom. As much as she didn't seem to like her in the beginning, she was there. She was the only one really there for her mom.
Right. Well, also, I think to that point, Shanice, it's like she was there because I'm going to need to make sure she does what I say to reach out to this girl, to follow up, to do all the things that you're... Yeah. Like she knew she left her mom. She wouldn't have been strong enough to do those things on her own without someone checking on her, so to speak. So,
yeah.
Well, ladies, listen, Danielle.
I was just thinking she could probably tell her mom was a fraud. I think kids could tell, like when you're not like full disclosure, or when you're keeping secrets, or you're not being honest about how you feel, or you're not being vulnerable. Like, I feel like they can tell. And then,
I think and she does tell her, right, when she's like, when she sees all what happened here, and then she finally tells her,
Yeah.
And then she also says at that point too, like, yeah, mom, like she's missed so much. You gave us everything. She had nothing. You gave us everything and Jade had nothing. Like
nothing.
I was like, yeah, that was
well,
big.
it could be like almost the equivalent of survivor's guilt,
Yeah.
Yes, true, Daria.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, I was gonna say, I said, ladies, we've done it again. We've read a few more books this month. We've added to our
tally.
forever growing library, which is a wonderful thing. Lots of things that we can talk about with lots of people. Should they just ask, what are you reading? What's on your nightstand?
Well, guys, I want to ask, I want to challenge you guys, because I'm challenging myself.
Oh boy.
It's not a huge challenge. Just rate the books that we read and write a comment for each book. And I'm not going back.
On Goodreads, you're talking about?
On Goodreads. Yeah. Just moving forward, I think we should rate each book. Because like 5 years, we can look back and be like, oh, wow, we said that, or Daria thought this, or Shai thought that. Or
sure.
I think we should rate it, even though I give every book a 4. Like, I got to be honest, every book gets a 4.
Every book's not a 4 though. There was one book we read so far.
I have been rating the books. I just haven't been putting comments in because I
like that. Yeah,
but I think we should.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, just like a rating and just a sentence or two.
That's a great
idea.
idea.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Yes,
I love it. That's great.
So would you all like to know? Well, no, we have 2 books. I'm not sure which one.
I can tell you what they are.
You should have known.
I can tell you.
Oh, okay. You tell the other one.
Oh my.
I don't want to tell the other one because it's written in 2006.
You should have known. And Sharp Objects.
So which one are we doing on the on the live?
On the YouTube.
I think you should have known.
You should have known. Okay. So that will be episode 3.7.
Yes.
3rd year, 7th month. That's in case nobody got the taxonomy of the episode numbers.
Good job.
That's why you're here. That's why you're here, historian. Thank you.
Okay, I already have that book.
You should have known. Great.
Yeah. I rented it and then I didn't read it, and now I'm on a wait list. I had to buy it.
Oh, I need to go in and see if I can track it down then.
Yeah.
If you could what?
Track it
down. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's on in Philadelphia, but I'm like, they said I'll get it in like a month.
Audibles.
Yeah,
so
but I end up buying them.
So are we doing that towards the end of July?
I think so, because it's summer and we've got a couple things, in the pipeline here.
Okay, so Sharp Objects is going to be in 2 weeks.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's on HBO too.
Wait, it's called Sharp Objects by who?
Gillian Flynn.
Yeah, it's a show. I think it was on HBO.
But you can get that for free on Overdrive.
Oh, I already bought it.
Oh, look at you. You're all
but you can return it. You bought it on Audible. You can return it.
Yeah, but I bought it. I canceled my subscription like 2 months ago.
So
because I paused it for the summer because I had already bought all the books and I didn't want
that was good.
Billing me.
Oh, that's smart.
I had so much credit that I just paused.
Good job. Good job.
A month or so ago, so I wasn't billed every month.
I wish I had a lot of credits. I just bought
so
Sharp
Objects buy more.
I need to read first. No, Black Friday you can buy them. Like 3 for the price of 1, stuff like that. Is when I bought them.
I'll have to look into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please remind me.
I wonder Prime Day they have a discount.
All right, ladies, listen, we're gonna sign off. We now have our next read.
Okay, Sharp Objects, 2 weeks, but that's not on the YouTube.
Right.
And then you should have known.
You should have known we'll set a date later in July. For us to.
It's not my birthday.
All right.
When is your birthday, Shani?
July 29th.
All right, we will stay away from that
I
day.
had to get Danielle's little head nod there.
Yeah. It won't be that day, I promise you.
Yeah, we won't do that day.
Or if it is, we could just meet together and do. I have nothing planned. I'm bored on I don't have a date or anything. So if y'all want, we could just have a girls' night.
Oh, I would love that. I'll send you my
too.
availability. I won't be in the country that day though.
Oh.
But we'll talk about that later. So listen, ladies, I always say live the book, but don't live all of the book, live some of the book. But the most important thing is that you're reading and you're taking time for you.
Yeah.
And that you've got time to check in with others about these great reads that we're collecting in our expanding library. So that's
guys,
it for now.
I'm reading one more book. You should read it. I don't know if it's good or not.
Well, please tell everyone. Please tell us.
Apothecary? Huh?
Apothecary?
Yes, that one.
Isn't that scary?
I don't know. It looks good. It's on all the book TikToks.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Lost Apothecary. So I just bought that at Target. And it's like a potion. You can kill your husband with it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really good.
Yeah, I heard about it.
You're gonna have to share that with us. Share your learnings.
Yeah, I will.
All right, good. All right, listen, ladies, let's sign off. Don't forget, live the book. Some of the book, not all the book. Live